Hello, in this video we're going to look at the question, if cotangent of an angle theta is undefined, then what is tangent of that same angle theta? All right. So I think where we need to start is first, what is the definition of cotangent? Now remember, all of your trig functions at the root are the ratios. We're just taking ratios of two sides, the lengths of two sides of a right triangle. Okay, so pause for a moment and think, well, what's the definition of cotangent of an angle? What two sides am I dealing with? Right. So if you're dealing with x, y, and r, you'll say x over y, or you could say adjacent over opposite, right? So this is the free form version. This is the version that's on the unit circle, on the circle. And it doesn't have to be unit circle with a radius of 1. It could be any circle, but on a circle. All right, now let's look at this part here, undefined. What does that really mean? What it means is that the ratio you got was not able to be defined because it was infinite. It was unbounded. I couldn't say it was a specific number like, 20. Instead, it was so big and there really was no end to it. Okay, so what they mean by that is undefined, which really is an infinity, either positive or negative. So the idea is, for this ratio to be undefined, it means that I have to be dividing by 0. Division by 0 is what is usually called undefined. It's really an infinity. So essentially what I'm saying then is, where on the circle, for what angle, theta, is it that the y coordinate, right? Because remember, that's what's in the denominator. Where on the circle, for what rotation, is the y coordinate equal to 0? So essentially then you're saying, okay, here's my circle. It doesn't have to be a unit circle. It could be any size, radius. Then where is it that the y, which is the vertical motion, where is it that you don't go up at all? Well, that would be where? That would be here and here, right? So then whatever the radius of your circle is, the coordinates of this point would be that radius. So for example, if the radius was 5, you'd write 5, comma, 0, right? And then here you'd write negative 5, comma, 0, or in our case, negative r, comma, 0, whatever the radius is. So there's the points, and so it must be at 0 degrees or 180 degrees. But then it says, okay, now that we know what angle that cotangent is undefined, right? It's here on the x-axis at 0 degrees or 180 degrees. What would the tangent be? Now remember, what's the definition of tangent? Well, tangent of an angle it's the reciprocal, y over x, or you could say opposite over adjacent. Well, at this position at 0 degrees, what's the tangent of 0? Well, it's going to be what? Y over x. Y is the 0, right? Here's x, here's y. It's y over x, but this is what? 0 over x, whatever that number is, the radius is. So 0 over anything is what? 0. If you do that same thing here, if you say what's the tangent of 180 degrees, well, the definition is still y over x, but the y coordinate, here's the y, here's the x, the y coordinate is 0, so you're still going to have 0 over x, right? Which is going to end up being what? 0. So when they say, if the cotangent of an angle is undefined, what is the tangent? Well, then the tangent of the angle is 0. All right. Thanks so much for listening.